What's going on, everybody? My name is Firedog and I welcome you back to the channel. This theory is a part 2 of my previous video, so if you haven't seen that one, make sure to go check it out or this video won't make a lot of sense. Today, I want to discuss the one and only living legend Luffy, the origins of his devil fruit's true name, his possible awakenings, as well as how I believe he will defeat Kaido. Let's get into it. I believe the Gomu Gomu no Mi to be the one and only reincarnation of the abilities of Sun God Nika. And to summarize what I basically said in my last video, I believe that Haki is the activation for these abilities, specifically his Red Hawk, Gear 4, and most notably, Red Rock. The Rock is a ginormous bird of Middle Eastern mythology that is known to carry fully grown elephants. The rock itself, according to art historian Rudolf Wittkower, derives its origins from the story of the fight between the Indian solar bird Garuda and the chthonic serpent Naga. Garuda in Japanese mythology are called Karura, which are giant bird humanoid demigods residing in the heaven realm that can breathe fire and have golden wings, and their diet just so happens to consist of dragons. The Naga are a mythological race of half-human, half-serpent beings that reside in the netherworld, and you definitely know what Naga are. These are Naga. They look a lot like dragons, don't they? They are also often associated with water. Sanji and Zoro have been called the wings of the Pirate King, Luffy. Luffy is being referenced as a literal bird who will soar higher than anyone else. We see him use attacks like Red Rock and Rock Gun, whose names are derived from mythological birds originating from a tale of fire-breathing bird people fighting water-based dragon people. Luffy representing Karura, a fire deity, and Kaido being representative of a Naga match perfectly with actual real-life mythology, as Luffy has these fire abilities and Kaido's fruit isn't a dragon fruit, no. It's the fish fruit, model Uzur dragon. There's another little piece of information there that is super important and ties directly to the end of chapter 1037. The Rock were known to carry fully grown elephants, and with Zunisha, one of the only 3 elephants in the series, appearing at Wano, it ties it all together. But how does this all tie into Luffy defeating Kaido? Well, in the tale where the Rock originates, the elephant it picks up is fighting a crocodile, a reptile, and dragons are supposedly reptiles. So I believe somewhere along the lines of this fight, Zunisha will play a major role by catching Onigashima by the command of Momonosuke, the man trying to stop Onigashima from crashing into the flower capital. My last video discussing how the Gum Gum fruit could in fact be the reincarnated devil fruit of both Joy Boy and Sun God Nika, and with these direct ties we see of Luffy to these birds of myth originating from legends of fiery bird people, I think there's no other fruit the Gorosei could be referring to, and furthermore, I believe we will see Luffy's awakening in this very arc, something that hasn't been seen in centuries, an awakening even legendary to the Gorosei. The only confirmed awakened devil fruit users we've seen are Katakuri, Dofi, Big Mom, Law, and Kid. Every single one of these fruits are paramecia, and paints a pretty good picture on how awakenings work for the paramecia class. And I still believe Luffy's fruit is a special paramecia, even with all of the different hidden abilities it may have. I still believe it will fall under the special paramecia category. From what we've seen from every awakening ability shown on screen or on page, the effects of the awakening affect the opposite of what the fruit normally does. For Katakuri and Dofi, who can control Mochi and String respectively, their awakenings have their abilities manifest from the environment around them rather than their bodies. And for Law, whose fruit's abilities manifest in his rooms and expand outward, his awakening allows him to create rooms inside people's bodies known as the Kroom. See what I'm saying? Opposite manifestation of the fruit's abilities is the secret to the paramecia awakening. So for Luffy, I can see 2 ways his awakenings could go. One more akin to Katakuri and Dofi's awakening, and another that fits the theme of the gears in terms of a transformation, but will ultimately tie this entire theory together. For the first idea, I could see Luffy's awakening being something as simple as him being able to freely manipulate his environment as he does his body. So he can make his fists out of the ground and use a form of Gatling that actually increases the number of fists he has, which is something Enel pointed out back in Skypiea. Basically, imagine Luffy being able to manipulate his environment similar to how Reed Richards can manipulate his body. However, my other idea and my personal favorite is something that I don't think anyone else has thought of. With every gear, it has been emphasized that they take a heavy toll on Luffy's body. And before the time skip, gears 2 and 3 were actively decreasing Luffy's lifespan. But after the time skip, Luffy gained a higher mastery of his fruit, and Luffy is no longer strained or grows tired after using both Gear 2 and 3 after prolonged periods of time, such as his fight with Katakuri as well as the raid on Onigashima. So after the time skip, those detriments have now been passed on to Gear 4, for its heavy Haki draw, which has been shown to affect lifespan as seen with Zoro and Enma during his fight against King. My idea for this awakening, this legendary awakening that is so powerful and dangerous that its name is changed from the general public, is this. Gear 2 increased speed, Gear 3 increased size and power, and Gear 4 combined those two elements. What I have in mind is a form that allows Luffy to do all of these at will with no effort, no stamina drawbacks, nothing like that. A fruit that breaks all limits and would truly make Luffy someone worthy of being called a sun god. He can move as fast as he wants, hit as hard as he wants, and change his size and shape to what he needs it to be at will. But on top of all of this, Luffy will also be able to use his fire abilities with any attack. Not just ones like Red Hawk or Red Rock, because instead of the will that manifests it coming from Haki, it comes from Luffy himself. This follows the opposite manifestation idea because instead of the fruit taking stamina and lifespan to manifest these abilities, Luffy just has to will it to happen. I do not think this ability will be called a gear. However, I believe we will see an awakening akin to the Ultra Instinct awakening, with Luffy's actual form not changing. Rather, there will be some cool aesthetic difference about him, such as the Ultra Instinct glow that Goku achieves. I'm not saying Luffy is going to achieve Ultra Instinct, that would be ridiculous. I'm just saying the introduction to Luffy's awakening may be something similar to what we saw in Dragon Ball Super, with the tables turning and Kaido not being able to land a hit on Luffy. But that's just my crazy headcanon, and I would love to hear yours down below in the comments. And finally, I want to discuss the ultimate question. How will Luffy defeat Kaido? In chapter 1000, Luffy's first attack on Kaido, Red Rock, is drawn very similar to Luffy one-shotting the Pacifista, and I believe this same shot will be what we see when Kaido is inevitably brought down. When Kaido was hit by Red Rock, he wasn't just injured and thrown to the ground, he was set on fire. And what better way could Luffy defeat Kaido than awakening his Sun God abilities and dominating the strongest creature alive, making Luffy the strongest being alive. I hope you all enjoyed this two-part theory. If you did, please leave a like, and while you're there, please subscribe and ring that bell, as it's free and you can opt out at any time. I hope you're all happy and healthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.
So, what it take to be an icon? All in your desktop, so I just might already be one. Mind me with the label, it feels on the table one sign, but I'm down for a free lunch. Just speaking my heat-seeking